the first law say? First law says an object continues to be in its state of rest or uniform motion until and unless an external unbalanced force acts on it, right? An object continues to be in its state of rest or uniform motion until and unless an external unbalanced force acts on it. I hope that is clear. So here,
Yes, sir.
here, is there a force acting on it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. There's a force acting on it.
So if the force is acting on it, is the object at rest or is it moving?
Sir, it's moving.
Is the body? I'm placing a body on ground, right?
Yes, sir.
You take a small box and keep it on the floor.
Yes, sir.
Object move or does it stay stationary?
Sir, it stays stationary.
So what is the force acting on it?
Sir, the force acting on it is gravity.
Right? But if there is a unbalanced force acting on it, what should happen?
The object would the object would go into motion, like.
But it is not moving. Why? Doesn't it? Is it something like it doesn't know Newton's laws? Or Newton's laws are wrong?
No.
No, we are not confident enough to say that Newton's laws are wrong.
And we don't have enough evidence to prove.
We don't have. We have a lot of evidence. Don't worry, I'll prove it. So anyhow, so yes.
Sir,
Yes,
voice is not so clear, sir.
You're not able. Am I clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
the microphone was.
yes, the microphone has been, flying out. It's been going here and there when I'm moving from one place to other. So now let's see. Let's look at the situation. If it is 100 Newton, right? And in which direction is it acting? Downwards. So if 100 Newton force is acting downwards, what should happen? The object should go into the earth, but it doesn't happen. So, and its state of motion doesn't change. It is at rest. That means what? The answer for this question is, well, which many of you might have thought but didn't give. The answer is how much? Net force acting on it is 0. What is the force acting on it? 0.
Oh yeah, it's 0.
It's 0. That's why it is at rest and it is, peacefully sitting on the ground. Now, why is it 0? Then what is happening to? Yeah, 0. So all of you agree it is 0 because it's not moving. Right. So what is happening to gravity? Does that mean that there is no gravitational force acting on it?
Not exactly. Because like even when we're standing, like it's acting on us, but we're not going into the ground. We're still standing. So
if it weren't acting, we'd be all over the place. We'd be just flying around.
Kavya, can you repeat it? Kavya, can you tell it?
If we weren't, if it wasn't acting on us, then we would be flying all over the place. We wouldn't be able to stand in one place because it's pulling us to the ground.
Because it is keeping us on ground, we are stuck to the ground. Otherwise, we would be going.
Yes, sir. Or we would be flying.
Or we would be flying.
Or should I say floating?
Okay, so well, that's good imagination. We'll discuss that also. There we have quite a few interesting things to be discussed today. Yes, Alex, you wanted to say something?
So there's one thing I want to ask. So is there any way to increase the gravity?
Yes, there are ways to increase gravity.
There are ways to increase the effective gravity, but why you want to increase the gravity?
So just asking.
Don't say that I'm very lean and I want to put off weight, right? So, of course, there are ways.
It won't be that effective. It won't be effective.
No, it is. There are ways of creating artificial gravity. Of course, they're very expensive and they should be done in very large scale.
And also, like, they require a lot of tech.
A lot of energy is required.
Like, a lot of tech, and they need like a lot of like workforce and stuff who are willing to work for like a long time, because the like creating artificial gravity can be like very complicated.
Well,
like you need like very experienced physicists. Then you need.
Okay, I understood, Arya. So
Yeah.
what you wanted to say is it is pretty difficult to create it.
Yes.
I'll answer this a little later, Alex, right? Let's complete this because we have quite a few interesting questions. Probably we'll take them just before the end of the
Yes,
class, right?
sir.
Yes, sir.
So now let's see. So this interesting question is not yet answered. That if the force acting on it is zero, is gravity acting or not? Just is gravity acting on it or not acting on it? So let me take a poll because I want everyone's response here. So one thing that we know is what? That this is at rest, net force is zero. So is gravity acting it or not acting? Yes is. If it is yes, you can say yes. If it is no, you can say no.
So what is yes again?
Yes is gravity is acting on the body. No is gravitational force is not acting on the body.
Sir, it is acting.
It is acting. Veda says it is acting. Okay.
Sir, I say yes.
You say yes. Then answer. Then is my answer wrong that the net force acting on it is zero? I got it. Tomik and Alex,
No.
can you
Sir-
give me the response? Yes.
Sir, unless like this is in space, gravity is always.
So Alex says no. Everyone else says yes. Veda, you also said yes. Tomik, what is your answer?
Sir, if it is not moving, then it is zero.
So you want to say yes or no? You want to change your answer?
No, I don't want to change my answer.
So your answer is yes or
Yes.
no? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, fine.
Sir?
So I understand. So I think apart from Alex, everyone else said yes. Yes, Kirtana, you want to say something?
So I think that if the net force should be zero and there is gravity acting on it, then there should be a counter force to make the net force zero and make the object stable and not move, right?
Perfect, right? So what is happening? Gravity is definitely acting. So you're all correct there. So Alex, here gravity is acting and Veda, magnetic force is also acting, but the magnetic force is very small compared to the gravitational force, right? And it is acting in horizontal direction, not in the vertical direction. So anyhow, so let's not get into magnetic as of now. So gravitational force is acting, and as Kirtana said, if the net force is zero and gravitational force is acting, there should be another force also existing so that the forces acting on it are balanced forces. I hope you're getting it. So there should be some other force also acting so that the forces acting on it are what? Balanced forces. Now, what is that other force? So what is that other force? Kavya, the answer is zero. Net force is zero, right? What is that other force? From where is that other force coming into picture? Now, in which direction gravity is acting? So gravity is acting in downward direction. So if some other force has to be, I'll write it as Fg. So I'll say force of gravity or weight. Weight is what? Force of gravity. This part is fine. Force of gravity is acting downwards. So if it is a balanced force, for the system to have balanced force, there should be some other force acting in upward direction.
Yes, sir.
So, so there should be some other force acting in upward direction. Now, what is that some other force? Let's check what is that some other force. So that some other force is called normal reaction. Now, who is applying this reaction? We call it as normal reaction because it is perpendicular to surface. The force with which the surface is pushing it up is called normal reaction.